Looks like the loose bark is falling off of our fancy wood block. This is what we use at the Would You Rather farm. Instead of jack stands, we use, of course, wood. So now we have this thing up on blocks. It'll be really easy to work underneath it. I'm gonna throw these boards on the grass so that we don't lose our tools. Also makes it a lot nicer to lay underneath so we don't have to lay on the grass. So here we have our 3 brand new bearings. One, two, three. Bring our tools around here. Uh-oh, don't lose the key. Okay, so we have new bolts that come with the part. So I'll just get rid of these old bolts. I guess I'm gonna need a wrench for that. There's Isaac and Timothy. Okay, I think we'll use the ratchet on top, the box wrench underneath. So the question is, yeah, this mounts from underneath. So, moment of truth, do the bolt holes line up? Yes, they do. put one in, get it started. Kind of hard to reach under there and find it blind. If I put it in the hole first and then place it on the deck. Do one. Maybe I'll drop this one through from underneath, or drop it through from the top, and then I can line it up this way. That works. So the old bolts were 9/16, but these new ones appear to be bigger. Is that true? Yeah, they're bigger. We're gonna have to get out a different wrench. So let's see what size wrench that is. It's got to be yeah, 11/16. I don't think we have a open end 11/16, so that means I'll use a crescent wrench underneath. Oh, that helps. This is 9/16 on the back and 11/16 on the top, so no problem with that. I'm sorry, these bolts are upside down because this pulley is going to be so close to the top of the deck that there's barely room for the head on the bolt. So if I put them in this way, there's a lot of excess threads sticking up, and there's not room between the pulley and the top of the deck for that. So I'm gonna have to take these out and turn them over. And a socket doesn't go on them on the back because of the way there's a webbing on the bearing, and I can't put a socket on there between the body of the bearing and the head of the bolt. Put the bolt through that way. Oh, and a washer. Don't forget the washer. Same time. So apparently 17 millimeter and 11/32 is pretty close to the same size. Well, that key fell right out, so that's the reason why I wanted to get a hold of it before we lost it. Oh, sorry, I forgot the washer. Okay, tighten them up. Okay, so that one's stripped. These bolts are kind of low quality bolts. One of the bolts on the center bearing stripped also, but it stripped before I had it as tight as I was hoping to get it. So we may have to replace these bolts at some point. The ones that stripped, I'm not gonna worry about it. If we have two good ones, and at least two good ones in each bearing, I'll just be happy with that. Just a mower. It's not a Boeing Starliner or a Challenger space shuttle. Would you rather farm or would you rather be in aerospace? I think I'll stick with farming myself, or pretending. I'm just a pretend farmer. That way I don't have to do it the right way. Do it the shortcut way. Yeah, those bolts, they just feel like they don't want to be tightened. Okay, I think I know why. The nut has a nylon bushing in it, so there's not as much thread there as in a normal nut. And these are also grade 2. I'm assuming they're grade 2, which means there's less thread and it's softer metal, so they strip out very easily. Yeah, that one's not going to tighten anymore. We'll just leave it the way it is. Okay, time for some grease. Grease the spindle and drop the pulley in. This time I'll clean my hands so that I can hold that pulley a little better. Yeah, this one is tightening a lot easier. So I have to check this as I tighten it. As the nut presses the pulley down onto the taper, there's not much room between the head of the bolt and the pulley. And I thought about maybe even grinding some off of that head to make it a little thinner, because I don't think there's supposed to be a washer on there. But this deck there was cracks. You might not see it in the video, but there was cracks around those holes, and I don't think the bolts would hold very well against that metal with it all cracked and shifting around like that. So I put the washers in there just for a little extra support. I think we almost should have ground some metal off of that head to make up for the thickness of the washer. But this looks like it's probably going to be okay because there's still quite a bit of space left, and that pulley is almost tight, so I'm just going to keep going on it, and I'm just going to tighten the nut down until the pulley won't vibrate anymore. So I'm checking it for slap. These are nylon nuts also, so they won't get loose. Okay, that's just bringing it down tight, and there's still plenty of space between the head of the bolt and the pulley, so I'm just going to go down a little farther. Yeah, I can spin that and it doesn't scrape. So we're in good shape. Yeah, there's more than a thickness of a nickel between the pulley and the bolt, so that one's good. I might tighten those nuts up just a little more once we get the blades on. Okay, belt. Let's put the belt on. The belt around there. Look at that. That's nice. And then this is the tensioner pulley with a little spring. Doesn't really need a lot of tension, just enough to hold the belt into the pulleys. Yeah, look at that. That belt's gonna need change soon. But we'll run that till it flies in half, or thirds, or quarters, or however many pieces. So yeah, okay, I guess our next step now is sharpen the blades. So let's go set up for that. So there, we have all 3 blades sharpened and they're ready to put back on. And I have to use this generator to run the grinder because that grinder takes a lot of power. And there's no power in the garage. And I don't trust the wiring at the trailer house because that grinder probably draws more power than that wiring in the house was designed to run. So I could run an extension cord from the house, but this way, with the generator, it's a lot less chance of starting a fire because of faulty electrical wiring. So that job's done. Let's put these blades on the mower now. Left, and it's already all the way to the left. I'm gonna wish it was left in the center, or parked in the center, so we'll always put it back to the center before we get done using this thing. Alright, park the tractor out of the way and get hooked up to this mower. Already all the way to the left. I'm gonna wish it was left in the center, or parked in the center, so we'll always put it back to the center before we get done using this thing. Alright, park the tractor out of the way and get hooked up to this mower. Well, let's hook this thing up and see what it can do. And this finish mower is so much easier to hook up than the brush hog because it's got caster wheels on all 4 corners, so we can roll it. And we can roll it in any direction, side to side, front to back. And this hook, or this pin, is far enough away from all of this that we can actually roll the mower right over the hook and then just raise the lift until it takes weight off of this hitch. So pull this side over first. Looks like we have to push it away from us a little bit. Yep, there we go. So pull it right up in there. I'm gonna go do the other side. Get it close and then raise the lift. Get this thing latched so it won't fall on us. this side. Drag it back toward me. And we'll raise it again one more time. See, where are we hooked on here? Oh, I see what we're hooked on. We'll get the shaft out of the way. Yeah, there we go. So now the hooks are in, and I'll just get up there on that handle and really pull it down as hard as I can get it. Yep. Okay, we are hooked. Time to hook up the shaft. I think there's a certain way this goes in. Yeah, like this. Or maybe not. Oh, there we go. Shaft is hooked. Let's fire it up and make our first pass. Trying to. That was close. almost. I think I'll throttle this down and give it just a tiny bit of choke. That's warm enough. I'm not gonna choke it any more than that. There we go. Shift the PTO. Second gear, little throttle, we're in motion. Let's add some grease, because I don't assume that those bearings were greased completely when they're new. Even if the package said they were, I wouldn't assume that to be the case, because we're not going to put new bearings on and then ruin them right away because we assume that they have the right amount of grease in them already. I'm just going to add a couple more pumps to each of these for safety's sake. I can already tell that this mower runs a lot quieter because of these new bearings. I think one, maybe two of these bearings was really making a lot of noise. This one in the center was the one that was really bad because the grease zerk was broken completely off and there was no way to get grease in it. And I thought about putting a grease fitting on to see if I could force some in, but then I decided to just run it until it absolutely flies apart, which is what we did.